Hello, everybody, and welcome to the premiere of the Bengals NFL show. I'm your host, Braden Guthrie, and welcome to the show that goes from everything Bengals related to small NFL news that could potentially affect the Bengals. And welcome to my YouTube page. I'm starting my page off by starting with talking everything Bengals related. And if everything goes right, I'm hoping to grow my page into an NFL talk, a college football talk, and potentially even do some other stuff like doing Marvel, DC, Star Wars reactions, maybe even some Family Guy, and also do some WWE reactions because I can unashamedly admit that I'm a huge wrestling nerd. But for right now, this is the Bengals NFL show where we're going to be talking everything Bengals. And for the first episode, I want to start off with a banger, and we're starting off with giving expectations for Joe Burrow for the 2022-2023 season. And before we start this video, I just want all of you to know that I'm still new to this. I'm improving my editing skills, my filming skills, and all that. So as time goes on, I'm hoping to improve on all those skills and to get better quality. But for now, I just ask that you all stay with me and enjoy my content. But like I said, today we're going to be talking about Joe Burrow expectations for the 2022-2023 NFL season. And to get started with that, first, we're going to give a reflection off of Joe Burrow's 2021-2022 NFL season and his regular season stats, not including playoff stats. Joe Burrow had 4,611 yards, 34 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 118 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. So after coming off just horrific leg injury into his rookie season, his 2020-2021 season, Joe Burrow just did not have a dominant season. Joe Burrow led the Bengals to a Super Bowl appearance, the Bengals' first playoff win since 1991. What Joe Burrow has done for the Cincinnati Bengals has been tremendous. He is already one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But for this video, we're going to be looking at how he can be even better, how he can be top 3, arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. And to do that, first we got to start with his passing yards expectation. The Bengals have a lot of notable opponents, especially on the defensive side, upcoming this 2022-2023 seasons. And the first team I want to talk about that Joe Burrow is going to play is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, while the Cowboys may get a bad rep, they are a legit team. They're a reason they're in the playoff runs and made the playoffs last season. Last season, the Dallas Cowboys had the 7th overall total defense, which they led the league in both interceptions and turnovers. When it comes to pass completion percentage, they came in 10th. And they ranked 7th when it came to passing touchdowns. So the Cowboys, they are obviously very talented and prepared when it comes to passing defense. They get the turnovers. A huge part of that is Trayvon Diggs, who was one of the interception leaders in the NFL last year. And that's going to be a huge challenge for the Bengals because while Joe Burrow is one of the best passers and most accurate passers, he certainly did throw his fair amount of interceptions. As I said earlier in this video, he threw 14 interceptions last year. And while some of those, as I will further explain in this video, weren't all on him, he certainly has the habit of taking those risks, and those don't always pay off. So it's important to notice who the defense is the Bengals will be playing next year, and that the Cowboys defense will give an issue, but I also want to point on that the defense that Ja'Marr Chase will be playing against next year is Trayvon Diggs. Chase will be seeing that one-on-one, and as we know, Joe Burrow has that chemistry with Ja'Marr Chase. Trayvon Diggs is a very, very inconsistent corner in the NFL. While he does have the interception count, he became a meme with that. Like, he did get the interceptions, but he was also torched a lot, whether it's fly routes, those intermediate routes, those 10 to 20 yard routes. Trayvon Diggs is a very hot and cold player, so that's going to be a big part of Joe Burrow's success when they play the Cowboys defenses, finding Trayvon Diggs in his weakness. The everybody in NFL knows he has his weaknesses, and the Bengals need to pick up on that. And somebody else who the Bengals will need to adjust for is Micah Parsons, the 11th overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. He came off huge this year with a tremendous rookie season, and while the Bengals did improve their offensive line, like any elite pass rusher in this league, Micah Parsons is going to give the Bengals fits. They need to be prepared. Obviously, they got La'el Collins previously on the Dallas Cowboys, on the team who we're talking about right now. And the Bengals also got Johnny Williams, who's also going to be looking to take a step forward this year. So it's going to be a challenge. The Bengals got to worry about Travion Diggs if it's going to be hot and cold. And they also got to deal with Micah Parsons rushing Joe Burrow. And even though this is going to be an improved offensive line, Joe Burrow's coming off in the year 2 after his knee injury. That's just going to be something that the Bengals are going to be aware of. But when I say it out loud, I think the Bengals are going to do just fine against the Dallas Cowboys defense. Next defense that I want to talk about who the Bengals will play in this upcoming season is the New Orleans Saints. Now, the Saints are one of the most underrated defenses, as they were the 4th-ranked defense in last season of the NFL season. They had the 4th overall defense ranked in the NFL. And while when it comes to passing yards, they were ranked in 14. When it came to pass touchdowns, they ranked in 2nd place. And in red zone touchdowns, just not for passing, but passing or rushing, they ranked 1st overall. And that is very noticeable because the Bengals were one of the worst red zone offenses last year. And that's going to be something the Bengals are going to have to improve. Now, obviously, while the Bengals did have one of the worst red zone offenses, they obviously have the tools to fix that, having Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. While Zach Taylor's red zone offensive calling has certainly not been his best, we've seen from year 1 to 2 to now 3, and he's currently going to season 4, but every year here in his tenure in Cincinnati, we've seen him improve. Now, obviously, it is very, let's say, overly optimistic. Expect that Zach Taylor is going to become some amazing red zone offensive play caller. But there's no reason to expect that the Bengals won't improve. So that being said, while the Saints do provide some tremendous red zone defenses, I think that's something the Bengals offense can easily overcome. It just comes down to Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow and how he utilizes our offensive weapons in the red zone, especially inside the 10-5. There are many more defenses I could cover for who the Bengals are going to play this coming season, but I don't want to bore y'all. The point being is Joe Burrow is going to play a lot of really great defenses this year. And while these defenses may have their certain aspects which should scare the Bengals offense, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Because Joe Burrow just consistently finds a way to overcome these problems. I mean, hell, last year he had one of, if not the worst offensive lines we've seen. He was sacked 9 times against the Titans, yet he still won. And you can say what you want about how the Bengals defense performed. You can say they won the game. I don't give a shit. I mean, if you get sacked 9 times and you still win the game, that takes a pretty fucking good quarterback. It takes a hell of a quarterback for that. So even if you throw the best of the best at Joe Burrow, you make him play worse of his worst game, he's still going to have a really damn good game. So when we're talking about expectations for next year, I really do hate giving stat predictions because I think stats are a bunch of bullshit. I, honest to God, do. I think they are very mistelling, and hell, even I keep burping. And hell, even Joe Burrow has said that. Like, he's talking about how sacks are a very misleading stat, which they are, among other stuff. But when it does come to these stats, I think while Joe Burrow will have a very dominant season, he won't quite hit 5,000 yards. I think that's a tad over optimistic. I've been about into 4,800, 4,800 yard range. I think he'll hit about there. Now, he did hit 4,600 yards last season. That's with him not playing the 17th game of the season, so only playing 16 out of 17, and we don't. However, with that being said, we don't know if Joe Burrow will be playing all 17 or 16 games this year. It'll depend on how the Bengals offense do, but I think with how many great defenses the Bengals will play this season, I think the expectations of Joe Burrow going off this season are a little unrealistic. I would expect around the same amount of interceptions. Joe Burrow is just that quarterback. While he makes the best of the best throws, he's going to make risks. There are going to be passes where he tries to fit in, and it's just going to quite get picked off. You know that's okay. It happens to the best of the best quarterbacks. When it happens, it's going to be really frustrating. You'll be frustrated. I'll be frustrated. But it's just going to happen. Now, for touchdowns, I'm expecting around 40 touchdowns. No, even though he does place against some of these amazing defenses, he's so clutch. He's going to come through. When it's time to get those touchdowns, he will get those touchdowns. So I think when it comes to touchdowns, he's going to get around 40, maybe a little under, maybe a little over. To know exactly, we won't know until next season, but I think there's very optimal hope for that. Now, in terms of rushing yards and touchdowns, I would be lying if I said I had a really good prediction that I thought would be accurate. I would say anywhere from 100 to 200 yards rushing from 1 to 4 touchdowns. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please get a like, leave a comment, subscribe. I'm trying to grow this YouTube page. I just want to talk Bengals daily, and hopefully as this keeps growing, we can talk more general NFL, more college football, but also leave that felt passion for the Cincinnati Bengals, because man, oh man, do I love this team. I fucking love Joe Burrow. That being said, like I said, please give a like, please give a subscribe, and let's go Bengals fucking hoo-day.